Nieky Holzken has been a dominant force in kickboxing for over a decade. He is the epitome of the Dutch style of kickboxing, adopting a tight, high guard for defense, frequently utilizing fluid punch into kick combinations, mixing high, middle into low. It's all about forward pressure, stalking opponents and drawing them into a firefight. He has spent some time training with Nick Hemmers, Raymond Daniels' younger brother, who's also a trainer of some elite fighters, and Nieky has some similar characteristics. He has an excellent step-up high kick, very much like Hemmers' other top fighter, Artur Kyshenko. This style has the advantage of always being in a position to counter, something Nieky does excellently with his counter left hook. Nieky will often let his opponents work away on the gloves, hitting him into his tight guard where he feels safe, and he can plant his feet to try and time a check left hook counter, usually as the opponent punches. He used this to help finish Bazooka Joeseph Valtellini in their fight for the Glory Welterweight tournament title. This fight was very back and forth, while Joeseph Valtellini tried to match Nieky for power, standing in the pocket exchanging combinations into low kicks. But Nieky's timing and check left hook will be the deciding factor in this fight. Along with the check left hook, he is infamous for the liver shot. Nieky's left hook to the body is a game changer, and he will often sling it in after loading it up with a right punch first, particularly the right uppercut. He will use the momentum of the right, turning the hips to generate maximum power in the body shot, as well as disguising it with the first punch by forcing his opponents to shell up. Nieky is definitely the cream of the crop when it comes to modern, Dutch-style fighting in kickboxing. Although he recently lost a regional in one, a man with a similar style to Nieky has been at the top of the sport for over a decade. His fights with Ursel were back and forth wars, but where Nieky's style has struggled most has been against the more tricky and elusive fighters like Cedric Doumbé and elite ties like Buakaw. Doumbé has a very unorthodox style. He floats around the ring, often changing stances, and has tricky head movement. This made it very difficult for Nieky to establish his range and find his way into the fight. The elite ties can control the distance with their legs, using well-timed teeps and knees to counter the boxing. The Dutch style prefers blocking kicks with the arms, to counter back quickly with punches over checking the body kicks. But the punches can be nullified by staying long after the kick to avoid the hands. And the kick across the arms does not deter the opponent from continuing to kick, as it doesn't hurt like the shin-on-shin clash of a check. A lot of the Dutch fighters have poor clinch skills, and this will be down to kickboxing not scoring the clinch, hence the lack of practicing it within the gyms. However, the tie-ups slow down the action and spoil the work of combination punching, so it is a very useful skill to possess. The ties can avoid the damaging tit-for-tat exchanges of combinations, and there aren't many better examples of this than Buakaw's domination of Nieky in their fights. Buakaw would either keep him all the way out, on the end of the teep, or with the body kick, or he'd come all the way in and smother the work, not allowing Nieky to get going with his fluid, fast hands. A style clash where Nieky really excelled was against the flashy point karate style of former Glory champion Raymond Daniels. This bout highlighted the lack of infighting in the bladed stance karate base of Daniels. Raymond Daniels requires space to work, and Nieky gave him none. He forced the action, trapping Daniels in the corner, where he could land the trademark Dutchy head-body-leg combinations, as well as the Dutch-style high knee to the head. The kicking arts such as taekwondo and karate, they don't fare well once you beat the legs, and there is zero clinch involved. This was exposed by Nieky in both their fights, where he was able to get Daniels covering with the hands to land the high knee up the middle. Where the Thais often use a long piercing knee, using more extension in the hips, the Dutch will often knee straight up. This is especially effective against a tight guard, especially when there is no clinch permitted, as it will penetrate the guard up through the middle. Nieky's own flair comes through in the use of his spinning techniques. He likes a spinning back kick to the body and will sometimes throw in a spinning back fist. This adds another dimension to his game and an air of unpredictability. He recently scored an impressive knockdown with a spin kick against Muay Thai legend John Wayne Parr. Nieky also tried his hand at boxing and he did very well. I would imagine he was chasing the lucrative paydays that come with the top level pay-per-view fights in boxing, far surpassing what can be earned in kickboxing, although I do imagine Nieky is still paid very well. He holds a record of 14 wins and 1 loss in boxing, with the sole defeat coming to world champion Callum Smith, a man who went the rounds with Canelo. Nieky is more of a puncher than a boxer, and the lack of distance control, not enough feints to close the gap and relying on taking shots on the gloves, which still score in boxing to land his own shots, will only get you so far against the elite. But he still did very well against Smith, who I'm sure underestimated Nieky's boxing ability and toughness due to him coming from a kickboxing background. With only 2 hands to worry about, Smith was able to anticipate Holzken's counters and avoid them quite easily. After throwing a right, he would just simply duck and avoid the oncoming counter left hook. He was constantly level changing, jabbing the head, jabbing the body, and keeping Holzken on the end of his range. Holzken did at times have success wearing him to the ropes and landing a few combinations, but Smith was too experienced and too clever to get fazed by any of this. He would show up shop, defend, and then get back to his work. As a kickboxer, Nieky is as elite as it gets. You know what is coming when he fights. It's more about watching to see if his opponents are able to keep him at bay and avoid the power. Will Nieky score a knockout or will he overwhelm the opponent? Will the opponent crumble under the pressure? He is the mould for elite Dutch-style kickboxing. Once again, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video and would like to see more, please like, subscribe and share. You can also support me on Patreon and the link will be in the bio. Thank you from Pro Striking.